These three things are getting in your way of having unrelentless happiness in your life. So I want you to think, when was the last time you felt confident? Was it right after you had a success, right after you got an award, an accomplishment, or you had your best month ever in terms of your business? I want you to think, when was the last time you felt confident? And now I want you to think, when was the last time you didn't feel confident? Was it when you had your worst month? Was it when that podcast didn't take off? Or maybe you fumbled something, right? Whether it's your words in a speech, or maybe you missed out on an opportunity that you knew you should have taken. When was the last time you did not feel confident? And I want you to think about those two situations. Now, the reason why I'm asking you to think about that is because this one thing that's getting in your way of having unimaginable happiness is that you're making your confidence conditional. Now, when you have conditional confidence, it may feel like, oh man, I'm normal, I feel great, like things are going well. But what happens when it rains in your personal life or even in your business? And that may look like not having the best month, your sales funnel not producing what you thought it would produce, not having the conversion rates that you were hoping and wishing that you would have. When times like that happen, does your confidence take a back seat? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel down or feel like, oh man, like defeated. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, does the belief that you have in yourself, or even in the strategies that you're using, does that take a back seat? If so, you may be suffering from what I call conditional confidence. It's when you only feel confident when things are going well. Well, what happens when things aren't going well? Does that cause you not to believe in yourself? Well, if that's the case, think what happens next. If you're not believing in yourself, if you don't have the confidence, it's going to take you from taking the next action that will give you that feeling back. And one of the things that we as humans hate is being stagnant, being stuck. So what I want you to do is remember what it is that confidence truly means to you. Confidence is not always a feeling. It's not always a thought, but it's distilled down to an action that you take. Because at times, even I, someone who specializes in helping people with building their confidence, there may be times where I don't feel confident, but I know that's okay, because when I don't feel it, I can be it. I can do it. I can take an action that is that of confidence. It's like getting on stage when you're afraid and you've never done it before. It's like starting that first podcast episode when you've never thought you'd be the person to be in front of a mic. All of these things are things that show confidence even when you're not feeling it. So for you, I want you to have unconditional confidence. And what that may look like is you giving yourself the grace to take the next imperfect and small action. Number two, this may also be keeping you from having that unrelentless happiness, and that's having conditional self-love. It's easy to love yourself when you have a nice haircut, your makeup is nice, you're wearing your best clothes, or someone just gave you a compliment, or you're succeeding and you're winning right now in life. Hey, all of those things are great. I'm not going to tell you not to have those things, but I'm more curious about the words that you tell yourself when you're not doing great. What are the messages that you send to your mind when things are not going in the way that you expected it to go? Do you still appreciate yourself? Do you still love yourself? Do you still give yourself that same compassion that you would give a friend that's suffering and going through that exact same thing? If the answer is no, then you may be suffering from what's called conditional self-love. It's when you only love yourself when things are going great. So as you can see, what this is all about is acceptance and, as I mentioned, self-compassion. When you have these things in your life, it allows you to continue taking action and having the life that you want, even when things aren't going well. So you can think of it like this. Whenever it rains, do you find yourself being like, oh man, I can't believe it rained. How dare God, or how dare the sky, how dare the laws of nature get in my way this morning? Well, if that's you, and then let's say you live in South Florida like me, or let's say you live in Seattle or some other place, right? I can even say when it gets cold, you may find yourself being subjected to the weather, things that you cannot control. And think about this. If you don't have that control in your life, you may feel hopeless whenever it rains, it snows, or things in your life isn't going well. So I want you to be very cautious about the messages that you send to yourself when things aren't going great. Can you allow yourself to be human? Can you just give yourself a break at times? Can you practice gratitude and appreciation for the things that are going well? If you can do those things, you will develop unconditional love, and that'll start to give you more freedom and fulfillment in your personal life. Because let's face it, guys, if you're, let's say you're my age, I'll tell my age, I'm 30 years old, right? At the time of this podcast, I'm 30. I'll probably have another 70 years, Lord willing, I'm gonna knock on wood until I'm, long and gone, if you will. I don't want to spend any of that time not liking myself, not loving myself, or wasting time just like overthinking. Every day is an opportunity, and I don't want to waste time being down on myself just because things didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. I make a vow to myself that I'm going to give myself the respect and the love that I would give my son or anybody else in my personal life. And that's because I deserve that same type of love and respect, and you do as well. So I want you to start to have unconditional self-love for yourself. And last, if you don't have that happiness that you want in your life, it may be because you have conditional praise. How do you celebrate yourself when you succeed? How do you celebrate yourself when maybe your outcomes aren't as, let's say, big, boisterous, or perfect as you would like? Are you still worthy of praise? Because a lot of people, they don't celebrate themselves because they feel as though I should be doing this, or this was a small win. Everybody has done this before, or maybe they say to themselves, hey, I just got lucky. All these things start to get in your way of giving yourself the praise that you deserve that would actually show you that you're going down the right path. This praise will also give you the motivation to keep going and get bigger successes and become the expert in your field or have that fulfilling life that you've been searching. But if you're not in the habit of celebrating yourself, you may feel like you have this dull life or you're not doing as well as one may say you're doing. So I want you to get in the habit of creating times and moments to celebrate yourself, even if it's on a small scale. Because when I say celebrate yourself, I don't mean taking yourself to the most expensive restaurant, booking a trip to Paris or Hawaii. No, I mean congratulating yourself by saying, man, I did a great job today. Or maybe it's taking yourself on a walk. Maybe it's going to the beach. Whatever it is, get in the habit of just giving yourself that praise that you deserve. These are the 3 things that are getting in your way of having unconditional happiness. And I want you guys to stop doing that. All right. So this is Coach Wells. Thank you for joining this podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so that way you can get more information like this. All right, guys. I'll see you later.